Live on Sky Sports F1. Formula One is back.
It's the moment they've been waiting for.
Are you ready? It's time.
Let's go, boys.
Listen to the roar. Time to go racing.
Box.
There is a bullet Ferrari. I need more power, man.
Okay, Lewis, it's hammer time.
He's going for it.
Give me everything you have.
He's going wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton.
Live from virtual Talladega, Alabama, we welcome race fans of one and all once again to the VRX-Pimax World Cup, where we get set to finally end things on out here at the biggest, baddest track on the NASCAR calendar. It's the Talladega Superspeedway and the season finale. Hello one and all, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Little Red Bull, and I'll be bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish of what is bound to be an absolute barn burner of a show here as we get set to close things out in the World Cup Series. We look down at the championship order entry today. This is after we factor in a drop week where the worst result of everybody so far on the season is dropped. And you can see Aaron Smith sitting on top of the points board so far, almost 20 points clear of Chris Carroll. But the big story tonight, bad weather over in the Midwest and elsewhere in the States means that Aaron Smith is not able potentially to contend in tonight's race, which would see him lose that championship. We then look back to Chris Carroll and Sean Bounty separated by 5. But of course, everything can change if there's even so much as one big wreck here tonight. Or of course, if we end up getting ourselves with a good old points shuffle at the end with that drop, we're going to be carrying on over into tonight's race as well. So there's a lot to play for here when it comes down to the championship standings, and I have a feeling it's going to be one of those championships that is going to have to be decided way down and after we get down a bit further towards the end of this race. It is 40 laps the distance here tonight as these guys will be looking to get themselves sorted. We'll obviously take a look at some of the qualifying efforts going on around the racetrack at the moment. Here is Corbin Himstreet coming across start finish line now. He is the third driver to put down a benchmark time for himself. He'll come down and cross over the start finish line this time through. And for one, Corbin Himstreet, it's going to be good enough for fourth quick on the boards thus far. Larry Bell currently holds the provisional pole time. It's going to move down, though, to Guy Barrett. And these lap times are going to continue to tumble down as drivers put down their second qualifying laps here. Of course, qualifying at Superspeedway, you talked about it before, so different compared to at a regular racetrack. Usually use that opening lap just to build up speed for you hightail it down and around to the front straightaway and run that low line all the way around through turn numbers 3 and 4. Got drivers coming off of turn number 4 this time by as good 21 cars plus have set times. We'll look up to Dave Collins Sr. coming across the start-finish line, seeing if he can't secure himself a spot within the top 5. Currently sits 7th with the 707 machine, and he will not be improving, but first big improvement will be the likes of Corbin Himstreet going from 21st up to 9th. Sean Bounty putting himself up on provisional pole. Good job for Bounty, 53-2-29. And, of course, comes into this race third place in the points. He needs that good starting position. Sierra Clampert was 22nd. She'll go up to 24th as, again, drivers come across the start-finish line. Here comes Jonathan Schwartz, one of the other big names we're looking at coming on over into tonight's race. He'll cross start-finish line, sat 25th. He's going to go up to 6th with a 53.259. Nathan Allen Kennedy across the start finish, but only good enough for 21st quick on the boards. And that's going to be it then from drivers that are looking to get a qualifying effort down. As everybody else up here on the racetrack so far only out to see if they can't get some extra practice laps in, but not a whole lot of practice you can do at a track like the Talladega Superspeedway, so may as well just go out here and kill a little bit of time. But we bring up the point standings once more, and this is, I think, where it's going to be extra critical, right? I mean, if Aaron Smith can indeed not join, and it is looking like that's going to be the case, as he is having that internet outage, as we mentioned before, along with other drivers like the Spikers, Teresa and Greg Spiker, both not able to be here. Potentially Dustin Buck and Derek Stanley also in similar straits as well. It has the potential to shake up a lot of our championship standings, especially in and around that top 10. I'm going to be looking at Carroll, Bounty, and Schwartz. Those are going to be like the big three drivers entering the race tonight that are going to be looking to see if they can't get themselves with a decent starting effort in this race, as we'll get set to take things on down to the starting grid. And I can tell you right now, it is going to be one intense race for everybody out here tonight. And as qualifying going to draw to a close, it is about high time that we take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to be looking like as we get set to go racing for 40 laps around Talladega, Alabama, and the virtual Talladega Superspeedway here tonight. Starting up on pole position here for your 40-lap affair tonight is going to be the likes of Sean Bounty for Rebel Racing. Brian Hennings starts beside him on row number 1. Guy Barrett and Chris Carroll going to be up here on row number 2 with Larry Bell and Jonathan Schwartz on row number 3. Troy Tarbuck and Jeffrey Hunter bring out row 4 with Dave Collins Sr. and Justin Ritchie rounding out the top 10 on row number 5. Row 6 holds John Hudson and Corbin Himstreet. Row 7 holds Lewis Meglin and Joseph Seelig. Mark Math and Joy Maines pick up row number 8. Row 9 holds Elise Main and Jason Lyon. Jason Day and Dylan Jackson bring up row number 10 with Nathan Allen Kennedy and Sierra Clampert on row 11. Nicholas Fontenot and Carson Catlin bring up row number 12. Row 13 holds Stephen Crone and Derek Stanley. Row 14, Dustin Buck and Isaac Wilson. Greg Spiker, Teresa Spiker on row number 15 with Aaron Smith rounding out the field. Of course, this is counted that a lot of these drivers won't be able to make it up to the starting call. We'll take a quick second and thank the guys that helped keep the lights on here for the VRX-Pimax World Cup. This broadcast brought to you by Pimax. With their gear, you can go where no gamer has gone before. They strive to help humanity exceed its limits through the use of technology, putting users first by delivering the best VR experiences possible. To find out more, visit them at www.pimax.com. Of course, the winner of the championship tonight will be winning a Pimax Crystal headset. It's also brought to you by VRX Simulators. VRX has been designing and developing advanced simulators for over 15 years. Over that time, they've come to understand the unique needs of every individual who purchases a VRX system. Their clients range from the home racing enthusiast to the global corporation, looking to find a comprehensive and immersive simulation solution for a variety of applications. Find out more at www.vrx.ca. By Thrustmaster, a distinguished gamer tradition for over 30 years. Thrustmaster takes pride in its core values, passion, quality, and innovation, and constantly strives to improve the realism and immersiveness in legendary game worlds by offering thrilling and truly exceptional experiences. From video game enthusiasts to casual gamers, Thrustmaster accessories for PC and gaming consoles bring everyone's dreams to life. And lastly, by Buttkicker. Buttkicker haptic hardware and software deliver the most accurate and highest fidelity sim racing tactile feedback possible via in-game audio and telemetry data. Experience deep immersion by actually feeling the vehicle's suspension, track surfaces, engine RPMs, tire grip, and more, allowing for your simulator faster driving, more immersion, and more control. Feel what you've been missing at thebuttkicker.com. It is going to be an intense race for all drivers out here tonight, and I want to see if we can't get a word with a couple of the guys that might be trying to get themselves going here. And we'll see if we can't get a touch here with one of these drivers here in the mid-pack. We'll look to the likes of Chris Carroll. And Carroll, of course, he's going to be entering this race here tonight. And it looks like we might actually not be able to get a chat here with Chris Carroll. But, Carroll's starting in that 4th position. He's going to be in a rough ride tonight. And word on the street, Aaron Smith potentially has managed to rejoin into the session. But, of course, he's going to be starting from way down in your field on this one. So it's not going to be necessarily the best of news. I know Teresa Spiker She'll be starting from pit road to the number 17 car, hoping for an early caution. I think Aaron Smith is going to be in the similar boat, but Talladega Superspeedway, a caution is almost an inevitability. There's always a common saying when we get down to a racetrack like this. It's not if the big one's going to happen. It is always a matter of when. We're going to come around through turn number 3 and 4, and we'll get set to answer that question here tonight as these 28 cars of the track scheduled for 31 going to get set to roll off, and we'll do this all one final time for the VRX-Pimax World Cup here from the Talladega Superspeedway. Pace car going to pull down and in, but it is still a long wait as they sneak around over to that front straightaway. We're happy that you're joining us here on a Saturday night. Let's do this all over one final time. We enter the restart zone, and it is going to be one Sean Bounty going to get set to take us to the green flag into the Geico restart zone. We are underway at Talladega. As we crossed our finish line, it'll be Brian Hennings to lead the way up in front, but you had seen troubles for Guy Barrett up at the back end of the field. He is slow down on the bottom side of the 02 car after he had some major incidents over on the opening lap here tonight for the Talladega Superspeedway. We'll see if we can't jump back and get a look at what happened here to Guy Barrett as he was coming on down 3 wide down the back straightaway, and he just got hooked by Larry Bell, and that's what sent the 02 car scrambling. He had to pedal that car down the inside, body slam the inside wall in a huge way, and that has broken that car. You can see the left rear suspension has collapsed, and that is what has caused that car some struggles. He's going to make it down to pit road. We are going to keep this race under green flag conditions. Hennings leads the way up in front, and did a single file, but Sean Bounty has dropped all the way back to the 7th spot up on the outside line. So far, that outside group is where a lot of drivers are wanting to go to see if they can maintain themselves with a good line as we start to take the laps away. Down on the low side, Chris Carroll's number 99 car trying to make a move, but nobody's going down to help him. He's going to be passed up by Bounty. Now he's going to be passed up by Joseph Seelig up on the top shelf. Here comes Bounty trying to establish a run up on the Larson line, way up on the high side by the wall, but he's going to get a little bit cut off by the 3 of John Hudson, the field. Single filing out here in this one. You look back to Stephen Crone, kind of heading up a train of 4 or 5 on his own. He includes the likes of Dylan Jackson, Joy Maines, Fontenot, Maine, and Kennedy all on the line, while the top grouping very much starting to break away from the rest of the pack as we hightail it down and around off of turn numbers 1 and 2. And it looks like a good chunk of your field has learned from mistakes at the Daytona International Speedway in the season opener. Of course, over there you had a lot of drivers that were kind of having struggles in the early goings, and that was a race that ended under the yellow flag for the season opener at Daytona. And that was as a result of a lot of drivers going too wide when they necessarily didn't have to. Now we're seeing everybody going single file, running that high line. Very reminiscent of what we saw in some of the Gen 6 years right around the mid-2010s. You can see a long, snaking train of Gen 7 stock cars as they rocketed down the front straightaway and into turn numbers 1 and 2. It is Hennings from Schwartz from Hunter, Him Street Lion make up the top 5. Jonathan Schwartz, of course, the driver in the catbird seat right now, trying to make a run for that championship, but he has 15 points behind Chris Carroll, and a lot of work to do with the iRacing.com number 95. So Schwartz has got some work to do. We got one on the wall, Further in the background here, that was, I believe, going to be, I want to say Isaac Wilson that just got him straight the outside wall to 93. It was. So Isaac Wilson collects the wall, but gathers it up. We will not have a yellow flag, and we'll keep this race under green flag conditions. Past that pack of 5, you got a train of 3 headed up by Kennedy, Catlin, Day. All in a line. Teresa Spiker has made her way up onto the racetrack, and she's working with Greg Spiker at the moment. So the husband-wife duo going to be looking to see if they can potentially work together to get some kind of move going. They're both still on the lead lap, so if they get a caution, they may very well be able to get themselves sorted later on in this race. Of course, then you have Guy Barrett. Now, Barrett running all by his lonesome way in the background here in the number 29 car. Then you have Aaron Smith and Dustin Buck. Both have not made starts so far in your race tonight. So we'll keep things as they are. We're going double file now as him straight up to the top shelf, and got a pack of 3 down to the bottom with the likes of Jason Lyon, Jeffrey Hunter, and the 3 of John Hudson. All in the fray. 15 of the 12K and the 3 working the bottom side, while Henny's and everybody else going up to the top. And now we're going to be 3 wide down and off of turn number 2 as the bottom lane got very discombobulated. Jeffrey Hunter's going to fall back, and that outside lane going to storm by these guys in the blitz down into turn number 3. See Lyon trying to lean on that door as if he can't get a side draft going with the 55 of Justin Ritchie. But that's not going to end up going anywhere. Brian Hennings continuing to lead the way up in front. Oh, trouble! Car's hard to the outside wall. That was Jason Lyon that just tanked a heavy shot. And Joseph Seelig going to go down to the inside, but no caution. We'll keep it green, but Seelig going to go again into the barriers. Heavy, heavy crash for several drivers in this one, as now Jason Lyon stacking up this second train here a little bit. Everybody's getting discombobulated. We'll try to get a look on how that one transpired. That was down into turn number 1, and we're going to get a look here. Joseph Seelig up on the top, Lyon on the bottom, and now Seelig just comes down and runs into the 12K machine, and now you go on board with Joseph Seelig here. And he's just going to go right into that arm, or the safer barrier down to the inside of the racetrack, and that's going to break his car fully. But again, no caution. We keep this thing green. Meanwhile, Derek Stanley in for a drive-through penalty. So Stanley coming on in the Tampa Bay Lightning Chevrolet. He's going to go straight on through, and Lewis Meglin now fall into the back. The 43 car with damage on the left or right front of his STP number 43 machine. He's also going to be pulling down and into pit road, and there is Joseph Seelig actually making his way down and in for service as well. You can see locking up, and that suspension it's seen better days, I think it's safe to say. Checking in on our second train here with the likes of Justin Wilson, Dave Collins Sr., Dustin Hunter, Sierra Clamper, Lyon Bell, all in the mix here. This is for the spots for about 9th on back. These guys got to get themselves straightened out if they're going to have any shot on seeing if they can't catch up to this leading pack up at the front of the train here, for Henning, Schwartz, Himstry, Boundy, and Carroll are all looking to continue to extend their gap out. They've got 7.3 seconds on the rest of the field, and that gap only continuing to grow. 10 laps down, 30 to go. Derek Stanley back down into pit road. So second stop in a row where Stanley's coming down. He's just tagged the pit wall, so I think he's going to just about call it quits tonight. Joseph Seelig gets down and out of the box. It's going to get a bit dicey here as we come around down and off of turn number 4 as Brian Hennings and co. have caught up to lap traffic in the form of the O2 and more. As Barrett and the Spikers that they're going to be trying to work their way around. So fairly easy move there. They're just going to go up to the top shelf and make short work of those cars down to the bottom lane. Again, the way it sits, Jonathan Schwartz, I don't believe would be able to take the championship because he's got Chris Carroll right behind him. And see in the background, Stephen Crone falling down several positions as he's caught by a train of cars. They're going to hustle on through. This one headed up by Elise Main, being shoved by the 48 of Joey Maines. Behind them, you have Day, Catlin, Jackson, and more. Nicholas Fontenot and Troy Tarbuck going side by side. Jason Lyon also in the fray here, the Pimax 12K entry. Lyon trying to see if he can't get that machine a bit further up the grid and see if he can't make one final position here. Go over some extra last race glory in this one. Sierra Clammer going to be ditched on the high side. Justin Wilson goes down low, and Lyon going to shove Wilson clear. Isaac Wilson, excuse me, going to shove Isaac Wilson clear of Clampert. Clammer going to have the 24, though, come up and give a bit of a helping hand, but did not take long for Nicholas Fontenot to abandon that effort down from the bottom shelf. Just kind of looking down, up and down throughout the field so far. You got Brian Hennings leading the way. Oh, trouble and caution in the background. Sierra Clamper going around in the 23 car. Oh, and she's going to get drilled as up the road. We've got Dylan Jackson wrecking it up into the outside wall. Yellow flag out for the first time in your race here tonight on lap number 14. We will jump back to the replay, see if we can't put together what's happening here to Sierra Clampert. Oh, just hooked up and into the outside wall. We'll back up a bit further, see if we can get a bigger picture out of this one here. And Fondo goes up high and just hooks the 23 up into the outside wall. Gets tagged by the 24 of Tarbuck. She's going to come down then and make pretty significant contact there with Carson Catlin, I believe, and Dylan Jackson's number 22 car. So we'll ride on board with Jackson throughout all of this and see what the 22 car saw. He's got Carson Catlin right up in front of him. You're not going to be able to really see the wreck develop up in front of them. There you see the smoke up on the top shelf. He's going to go down low. Caution is out. They start to back it down. Oh, it was not Dylan Jackson, but somebody else entirely that got up into the outside wall. But he definitely saw the driver that kind of got collected as a result of that one. And we'll look back, see if we can't figure out what the story behind all that will be. Meanwhile, Brian Hennings looking to set to bring the field down to pit road. I'd be a bit surprised if he did not come down to the lane, to be honest. And sure enough, he's going to be coming on in. He's going to be taking a good chunk of the field with him here. So pit stops underway here in the VRX-Pimax World Cup from the Talladega Superspeedway in their season finale. Hennings leads them in. Justin Ritchie staying out in the number 55 car. So that's an interesting call from him. As Hennings going to lead the rest of the field down and in for service. One by one, drivers start to work their way out of pit road. We're going to take a quick step back. You're watching the VRX-Pimax World Cup from the Talladega Superspeedway. There's a bit of rubbing going on off of pit road. Justin Ritchie leads after not pitting with everybody else. We'll be back in a moment.
Live on Sky Sports F1. Formula One is back.
It's the moment they've been waiting for.
Are you ready? It's time.
Let's go, boys.
Listen to the roar. Time to go racing.
Box.
The tyres on a charge. There is a full of Ferrari. I need more power, man.
Finish, it's hammer time.
He's going for it.
Give me everything you have.
He's going wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway. We're getting set to come to the end of caution flag number 1. Justin Ritchie, your race leader. Nathan Allen Kennedy going to be back in the second position. We had a driver come down pit road under the Slay's yellow flag, and that was the likes of Carson Catlin, Derek Stanley, Mark Math. They both all bailed out from positions fairly far of the racetrack. Brian Hennings picks up third, Jonathan Schwartz in fourth, and Chris Carroll, along with Sean Bounding, going to be starting in 6th and 7th, respectively. Those are the drivers that are the main contenders at the moment for this title, now that Aaron Smith is down and out of the fight. And we'll see if we can get this show back underway as the field going to come around through turn numbers, I guess, 5, the tri-oval. It's not count as a turn. I say it should be. Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back up in the air, and we're back underway. Trapped in the middle is Troy Tarbuck. Car scrambling up to the outside wall, and Jason Lyon almost got spun round near the tail end of the field as we'll rocket off of turn number 4 and hightail it back down the front straightaway. Justin Ritchie continues to lead the way up in front, with Jonathan Schwartz tucked in line right behind him. Bounty picks up third, Hennings sitting in fourth. Already you see some separation in your field here as Jason Lyon heads off the first train, and then the second train headed up by one Jason Day. A lot more double file action going on in this second train here as these guys try to scramble to get themselves organized, while the front runners, you can tell up here, started to pull away already after just one lap of racing as we run it back down to 3 and 4. Rocketing back into the tri-oval. And now we're going double file up to the front here as well. That's going to allow that second train to start to close on up. These guys don't get themselves sorted in a hurry. Brian Hennings trying to find a hole, and he's going to start to drop down the field. Loses out to Him Street. Hunter, Maine, banging doors between Tarbuck and Lyon as it's going to be the 24 way down low under the apron, and now trapped 3 wide. Troy Tarbuck going to fall right to the tail end of the field after contact with Jason Lyon. A close shave there. Mark Math, meanwhile, middle of this train, has just secured fast lap of the race at 48.99 for the number 199 car as he'll rocket off turn number 4. He currently runs in 16th. Halfway home, 20 down, 20 to go. And apart from these big trains, it's got some of the odd drivers out, like Teresa Spiker, Greg Spiker kind of stuck in the middle of this one with all your lap traffic, otherwise stuck in the most part in the middle of these packs, with Sierra Clampert, one of the big outliers of that statement, sitting on her lonesome. Got a run going on, or an attempt to run, I should say, on the inside. Elise Main heading this effort up, trying to be shoved by Nathan Allen Kennedy to the point into turn number 3, but with only 4 cars, including Fontenot in the 337 and the 199 of Math. They might get some help here as Chris Carroll going to jump down from the outside groove, trying to get a run going, but it's just so difficult to try to carry that momentum around from the inside line. You just get so much more speed off the top shelf, and you can see they're even struggling to push up to each other to where they can push each other, and now Carroll bouncing off the door of John Hudson. Thought for a second we were going to get caution flag number 2. As your field hightails it down to turn number 3. Ritchie and Schwartz continuing to lead the way up in front, while Chris Carroll and Elise Main going to try to work together. Brian Hennings, champion of the Pimax GT3 series, jumping down to the inside lane. Kind of thinking about where he wants to go, though. He's not quite sure if he wants to be up top or if he wants to be down low. And right now, he's going to be forced to be down low, so he may as well work with the other fellow drivers that are stuck in there with you. Pushing through turn 5, 4.5, what have you. The tri-oval as we work into the second half of your season finale. Oh, Lyon trying to jump down to the low side. I don't think that will work. Oh, it will. He does manage to find an opening, so Jason Lyon jumping down to the bottom end of the racetrack. And there goes the rest of your field now as we run down through turn numbers, or through the tri-oval and down onto the front straightaway, crossing start finish once again. Into 1 and 2. And I tell you what, that 12K starting to get a bit more of a momentum going here. We look back here, and here's how about this for the runs. You can just see how much that outside lane able to establish itself as your field works down in toward turn numbers 3 and 4. It's just almost no competition for the inside line. And there's a bump mid-corner. Jason Lyon getting into the 52 there of Jason Day. So a close shave off turn number 4. And now Ritchie going to jump down for the top side. That's going to let Jonathan Schwartz take up the race lead. Ritchie wanted to go further to the back. Brian Hennings jumps out of line. I think from the checkup, he's going to get up in front of Troy Tarbuck and tuck in behind Chris Carroll. Schwartz now leads, pushed by Boundy. Now, while we have this slight bit of more procedural racing here, I do still want to make it very clear that even though Aaron Smith is not present, that doesn't mean he's going to lose this championship, because it's the worst results that get dropped. So Aaron Smith could still very well take this lead with the fact that he was a good 16 points up from Chris Carroll entering your race tonight. And that was after Roberts already took impact. So the points totals could look very different exiting this race than they did entering, and we'll obviously get all of that confirmed as soon as we possibly can, as soon as we receive the information up here in the booth. That's part of the hazard when it comes to drop weeks. Never quite know how it's going to shake up until those results come through. Hunter having a moment. He's up and into the outside wall and dropping back a long way for Jeffrey Hunter. We'll try to run it back, get a look on what happened to the 15 here. And well, a bit further back than I think we were anticipating, so we won't be able to get that look after all, but Hunter going to stop the bleed in around the 22nd, 23rd position. We're going to keep things moving up at the top end of things. Now it's Lyon that gets up and scrapes the outside wall. So Jason Lyon having to pedal the 12K Pimax machine. And Nathan Allen Kennedy making the dive down to pit road. So Kennedy has had enough. He's going to pull down and in. At the front of your field, it is Schwartz leading the way from Boundy, Hudson, Himstreet, and Math, the top 5. Carroll, Mondo, Meglin, Lyon, and Mays. Whoa, trouble, big trouble in the back. We're spinning cars around, and that's going to be yellow flag number 2. Larry Bell collected. Jason Day spun to the inside of the Motive number 52 Chevrolet. Second caution here of the afternoon. And all of this stemming from moves further up the field, and that all kind of culminated in this incident that occurred down at the turn number 4 here. So where's this all start? Now, it looked like he started a bit further up the road, and then Jason Day going to get just collected by the 24. There's some bystander in this whole deal. We'll see if we can't get a slightly better angle of all of that here and track down the root cause of all of this. And, well, this will tell the story from the air. Oh, the 48. They just caught the 48 way too quick, and that stacked the entire field up. See how Larry Bell get turned. The 24 took a hefty whack to the wall. The 46 actually did tank the wall a fair ton, and then Jason Day obviously spun off of turn number 4 and was the big reason for the yellow flag right there was Jason Day being spun round. Pit stops, yay or nay? Who stays out? Who comes in? It's looking to be for a good chunk of field staying out here. Expect Isaac Wilson to maybe come in? No. But about half of your field, and the back half of your field, are all going to be down and in for pit service here. On lap number 30. Got a good chunk of guys in here in the 22. We've been missing his box. So that was Dylan Jackson that slid straight through. This is going to be Stephen Crone to kind of lead the way off the lane, but it'll be Elise Main overall to win that race off of pit road. You can see Sean Bounty, Jonathan Schwartz running 1-2 as it stands, and these are, of course, some of the drivers that we've talked about before. They could have some potential struggles for them over the course of the race here in this one. And of course, you look down at drivers elsewhere, and in particular, you got to give a hand to some of the drivers that have been able to kind of weather the storm. And how about that for the likes here of Mark Math? Of course, Math running in that 199 car as it stands. He's doing a good job hauling that car around in that 5th position as it stands. And I can tell you right now, that car, he's had better races, but he's had far worse as well. He fell down so far in the opening stint. Then we got that yellow flag, and now he's able to run it up here towards the front of the field. Running in that top 5, he'll start 3rd on the inside row. I believe it'll be 9 to go when we go down and take this green flag here. This time through, and it should be should end up being fairly almost tame, I want to say, based on what we've seen before, at least at the front of the field, maybe not so much at the back. I can tell you right now, though, the drivers that'd be able to speak to that the most would be the guys that are actually running up here at the front end of the field. So why don't we see if we can talk to one of the drivers that would be able to speak to the most of how this restart might go. We'll see if we can get in touch with Sean Bounty here. Sean, this is Noel Rambo up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you're starting 2nd place on that outside line. I don't think out of this championship fight just yet. You got 9 laps to go when we take the green here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, especially starting 2nd. As long as I get a good run, I hopefully might get the lead. If leader doesn't get a jump, this outside lane is kind of the way to go. I think the biggest thing is just hopefully no more cautions to the end. I think we're good here.
Well, we know it's Talladega. We've had 2 so far on the night, but they've been relatively tame at the back of the field. Do you reckon the front of the field will be able to keep it nice and calm until we get to that white flag?
I don't know. Everybody has been pretty safe up here, but I've been around a couple other championship contenders, and we've been nice. But you know, once we get to the end of the race here, you're going to start getting some bumpers, and we're going to find out how well we can hang on to it when we're getting pushed. It's my only fear, and hopefully we keep it nice and calm.
Well, may the force be with you, and hopefully we'll be seeing you with a good run here at the end of the race here tonight.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you.
I have Sean Bounty over here restarting 2nd place up on the racetrack. He'll be in the VRX simulators, number 34 Toyota Camry to the outside of the number 95 iRace.com Chevrolet. Bounty, one of the big contenders at the moment for the title. He's at 5 points behind Chris Carroll, who's at 16 behind Aaron Smith entering tonight. But it's obviously going to be a big question over how is this going to pan out with Aaron Smith and the drop weeks. I think that drop week, that is the one thing that is really hovering over our head, or hovering over our heads at these stands and over these drivers' heads as well. You know this is going to be playing into these guys' minds as we go through and take these last green flag laps and hopefully go green for the last stretch of the VRX-Pimax World Cup Championship. This pace car going to pull down and into pit road. We'll enter the Geico restart. Oh, hello. Bit of a stack up at the back as Steven Crone had to kind of jam on the binders in a unexpected manner. But back to the point. We're going to go green flag racing this time by. And it's going to be Jonathan Schwartz once again into the Geico restart zone. We're back to green. Oh, and a stack up at the back. Henning's going around, and that's the big one. Entering turn number 1, and it is a roadblock. Further down the field, still crashing as somebody in the middle there didn't go, and I think that was Jason Day. Sorry, John Hudson to the 3 that just never got going, and, well, yellow flag is out once again. Not the most pleasant of restarts, I think, is an understatement. As that has collected a massive chunk of your field. We'll look back, see if we can't piece together what happened. We'll look to John Hudson. And just doesn't get going. Right there, I mean, he just gets run over from behind. I wonder if he maybe missed a shift, and that stacks up the entire field. Got a good 10, 12 cars at least caught up in the mix. Well, right on board with Day here, or with Hudson, excuse me. Watch the gears as we're going to go first gear, then up to second, and it's going to be up towards third here. Yeah, he doesn't get going. He can't shift out of second gear. That's what causes him to wreck it up and into the outside wall in a big way. And that's just, I'm not sure even what to make of that. That's a new one for me. I've heard of drivers missing shifts and getting stuck in neutral, but getting stuck in second? That is, that's going to be one that he's going to be hoping these drivers are going to be forgetting throughout the rest of this run here, as we'll go back to the green flag here, and we'll back this one up one more time. And oh, hello, pardon me on that one, as tech hardware goes flying over here, a bit haywire behind the scenes. But you look down, and right there, Day just does not launch, and from there, that stacks him up into Mark Math. And right there, that's where everybody shifts into third. He doesn't. And from there, Hennings gets up, gets into Lyon. They wreck down out into the 48, the 43. The 3 gets hooked up to the outside wall. Wilson just barely scrambles through. And, yeah, just kind of everybody getting stacked up as a result at the back end of the field. Good news is not a lot of hard impact, except for that one there with Larry Bell. So you think for the most part we should be okay, I want to say. As that was not the way we wanted to see that restart go down. And one of the drivers, of course, that was right in the mix of that was the likes of Mark Math. And we'll see if we can't get the thoughts from Math on what he saw throughout all of this, and try to dial on up, and it doesn't look like we'll actually be able to. Mark Math unavailable for comment on this one, but not, again, it's a tough situation, right? I mean, you don't want to find yourself in a bad room, like a bad space like that, but sometimes you're just left with nowhere to go. And one of the drivers in that was left with nowhere to go was the likes of Larry Bell, who was restarted way at the back end of this field. And we're going to get a look from the driver's eye here from this 46 car. You're going to watch as it's all going to be smoke. You're not going to quite know where to go. As right there, there's smoke starts to fly, and all of a sudden, where do you go? I mean, track's blocked. You go down low, but then everybody else starts to go low. Yeah, there's just nothing you can really do there. Just run over everybody else, I guess, and hope for the best. Well, that is going to put us under our third yellow flag then of the evening. We will take another step back. You're watching the VRX-Pimax World Cup Championship finale here from the Talladega Superspeedway. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway, where we are about to get going green flag racing with 5 laps left to go, as we just got to the end of our latest yellow flag from this incident on the restart, where we had drivers scrambling left, right, front, and center, as one number 3 car just did not go, and that ended up stacking up everybody in the field, as Isaac Wilson just barely managing to find a way to avoid this mess as the field took themselves out behind him. A lot of drivers now, as a result of this, are going to be having damage, but I don't think enough to the point where it'll be impacting your field in any way, shape, or form as to how this overall race could pan out. We're still waiting, obviously, to see what's going to happen regarding the drop week scenario towards the tail end of this race, and obviously we'll update you on all of that as we're able to. We're hoping for a cleaner restart this time. It is Mountain and Him Street starting side by side. Schwartz and Carroll, the other 2 title contenders, be back on row number 2. Entering the Geico restart zone, green flag, and we'll be back up in the air as we get underway. Chris Carroll making the move up onto the back straightaway, trying to go higher on Him Street. Not going to happen. He'll tuck back in. Him Street shoving Bounty up to the point. Going to be 4 laps left to go this time by, as everybody going to see if they can't scramble up and try to get themselves with a good run. So many drivers here still have a shot. Among them, how about Teresa Spiker? Remember, did not make the start for this race due to technical problems. Went down a lap, and now back up onto the lap is Jonathan Schwartz having to scramble up to the top shelf. Cars flying left, right, front, and center. Cars still getting collected. Lion going to be taken out, and it's the longest wreck I think I've ever seen, and hard to the outside wall. 1, 2 cars up and over. Troy Tarbuck demolished, and Teresa Spiker spins down to the inside, and that looks to be green-white-checkered from Talladega. That was the longest wreck I think I have ever seen. It took a while for it to happen, but boy, when it happened, it was big. I was just talking about Teresa Spiker, too, about how she had just worked her way up from the lead lap. As we'll look from the air, where does this all start? I mean, where do you begin to unpack? I think right there, Jonathan Schwartz gets in a Fontenot. He scrambles up the track, gets into Wilson. Wilson got into the wall. That stacks the field up. Chrome gets into Lion. They bang doors, and then right there, hard hook into the wall, and Tarbuck with an almighty ride, and a lot of drivers sent sliding down into the infield grass as a result, and that is all just wrong place, wrong time. And I tell you what, for Troy Tarbuck, what a tough break for that number 24 car, man. I mean, he has been doing such a phenomenal job all race long, and then just as this happened to him, as sent up into the wall, and look at that. My goodness. Brian Henney's got a ride. The 24 pirouettes on his nose, slamming down onto the right sides as Teresa Spiker gets drilled again. And Carson Catlin again. Nowhere to go for Catlin in any of that mess. And this is going to continue to develop as we get towards this green-white-checkered here. Now, that 34 car, he's going to be in a very critical spot here. The big news with this one, Jonathan Schwartz and Chris Carroll, they both survived. So all three of our main title contenders did manage to make it through that wreck relatively unharmed. And I tell you what, that is just, again, a tough break for a lot of the drivers in the field here. And obviously Teresa Spiker down and out of the race car as it stands. We'll see if we can't get in touch, though, with the driver of the number 70 car regardless here on this one. And we'll see if we can't call up Teresa Spiker. Teresa, this is Nolan Rempel here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, I was, talk about a commentator's curse, I was literally in the process of saying what a comeback from you after you had to start this race from pit road, fought your way back from a lap down, and as I was saying that, you find yourself upside down and into the catch fence along with Troy Tarbuck. What did that look like from your end there? Do we still have you, Teresa?
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine if you're able to hear me.
Yes. I was running in ninth, and the car on the outside got bumped and got it under control, and then got bumped a second time, and then the outside car came down 2 lanes.
It was just kind of a stack of effect from there. I mean, you obviously have the chance to look back at it now with you sitting down there in pit road as it stands, but you look forward to how the race went as a whole. I mean, outside of this one, I think it's commendable how you were able to push through. I know a lot of drivers, they wouldn't take the time to sit in the car, wait for a lucky dog, and see if they can't get back up onto that lead lap, but you had a shot to win. Do you reckon if that didn't happen, you could have gone for a victory here in the final race?
Absolutely. I had a very strong car, and I had no damage, so I was definitely in the running. I started from the pits.
Yeah, and that was, as I understand, part of technical difficulties for the Spiker home, along with Aaron Smith and others kind of caught up in similar situations.
Yes, absolutely. He did a great job. He kept trying to log back in. It was fantastic.
Well, regardless, obviously, it's a disappointing finish right here tonight, but hopefully there will be seasons going forward, and we'll be able to see what that car can really do. Thank you for joining us up here, Teresa. Tough luck out there tonight, but better luck in the next one.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's Teresa Spiker, the number 70 car, joining us up here, and I tell you what, it is a real big shame for the Spikers in general. I mean, she, again, started this race from pit road after almost not being able to even compete due to technical difficulties because of all the storms that have been battering the Midwest along with other parts all across the states as it stands, particularly in Tornado Alley, as I understand just today. 7 tornado warnings in one state alone. It was 7 in Iowa at least yesterday. And you get all of that into the night. She still makes the effort to come on out here, get in that car, even though she's a lap down, probably knows almost no hope in hell of getting that lap back if something big happens. But it happens anyway. She found herself fighting for a top 5. And it's such a big shame that they had to take her out of the race. I was looking forward to seeing her being able to fight for a race win. But regardless, we'll get back down to business. It is green-white-checkered territory. And we'll see how this is all going to pan on out as drivers will come down off of turn numbers 3 and 4. Bounty continues to lead the way. Him Street, Carroll on row 2. Jonathan Schwartz back on row number 3. 2 laps remaining for the Talladega Superspeedway here in Alabama. We'll hope this race ends under green. We have a finite amount. Green flag up in the air. We're back underway. Oh, we're already wrecking it big time over in turn number 2. And this time it's Greg Spiker to be collected. There's a second spin in the back as well, and that's going to put us under the caution yet again. And Corbin Himstreet looking like we'll take the lead in this one. We'll jump back first to Isaac Wilson, the 93 car. Gets into Nicholas Fontenot, and he gets hooked by Isaac Wilson to the 48 car. He spun down to the inside. There was no caution for that. There was a caution for that giant hit, though, into the outside wall as we had big one part number 2. And that's going to collect Spiker and a bunch of cars over off of turn number 2. And Lewis Meglin among the group that got in on this one. And man, it's just, I think, again, a similar situation of just everybody trying to go for same piece of real estate. And, oh, that's a hard hit into the inside wall as well. Once again, we will go overhead and we'll try to see if we can't piece together how this one starts. So watch Fontenot. Fontenot gets into the 93 there. That spins the 48 to the inside. Stack up the Greg Spiker to Hudson, and then, oh, it was the 707. Just got loose on the top side, and from there, yeah, hard hit into the wall. Henning's left with nowhere to go. Man. Tough break again for so many of these drivers. Good news is we do have multiple attempts, so we will we'll restack them. We'll try this again. I'll try to get a bead on what the number of green-white checkers we're going to get here is at this point. As Isaac Wilson comes down into pit road, we'll run through the field real quick here, at least with what we can. It is Himstreet from Math from Boundy. Sean Boundy falling back to 3rd. Jonathan Schwartz picks up 4th with Chris Carroll in 5th. Hunter and Fontenot in 6th and 7th. Dylan Jackson, Jason Lyon, and Joey Maines will be rounding out the top 10. Jason Day, Dave Collins Sr. are in 11th and 12th with John Husden and Justin Ritchie in 13th and 14th. Nathan Allen Kennedy, Carson Catlin in 15th and 16th. Stanley, Maine, and Hennings. Isaac Wilson now out of pit road, and Greg Spiker will round out the cars up on the lead lap. Teresa Spiker has actually gotten back on the racetrack, and she just got the lucky dog free pass. So that's big for Teresa Spiker, as she'll be able to get 1 lap back. And obviously outside of Teresa Spiker, Guy Barrett, Tarbuck, Crone, Seelig, Bell, Clampert, Smith, and more all down the pit row with Smith and Buck not opting to start this race, or not able, I think is a bit more accurate to start this race. Biggest mover so far goes to Nicholas Fontenot, plus 16 positions for the 337 car. He is up to the 7th position as it stands. The driver that's lost the most, Brian Hennings. Actually, sorry, it's Larry Bell, technically, but if you go by cars at the racetrack, it is Brian Hennings who has lost 17 positions. Bell's lost 23, though, after he got collected in the latest incident, or one of our latest incidents that caused us to go under our first green-white-checkered attempt. While we pace under the iRacing safety car here, want to just remind everybody at home, if you like what you've been seeing here so far on our production side of things here for Green Flag TV, be sure to subscribe. Weekly races here. OMSRL Xfinity Series will be returning in full force this coming Tuesday evening, and they're going to be starting their own little playoff series where the top 10 of points have been reset after a barn burner of a finish at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the regular season. They're going to be making their next start over at the Martinsville Speedway. So that's, shall we say, going to be an entertaining race, to say the very least. 200 laps around the world's fastest paperclip. And, of course, Saturday nights, with the conclusion of the VRX-Pimax World Cup, we are going to be bringing a new league on board. The TNGG iRacing Esports League will be bringing their truck series into the Green Flag TV fold, as they will be looking set to be running all the way down from April 8th all the way straight through on a 29 race season until October 21st. We'll be covering all but 2 of those races on July 1st and August 26th due to potential scheduling conflicts. And of course, the OTSS Xfinity Series season has renewed, so we'll be covering their second season on Thursday nights starting in a couple weeks here. That's all coming up here on Green Flag TV on upcoming programming. But for now, lights are out aboard the Irish safety car. We get set to go Green Flag racing once again for the biggest, baddest track on the NASCAR calendar, and certainly living up to its name here tonight, as drivers will get going for our second green-white-checkered attempt. I believe we have a total of 3 that these drivers are going to have access to tonight. So if they don't make it back to the white flag, we will reset. We try it all again. If they do, race is official. If you have to go to that third attempt, then it still gets a caution. This race will end under the yellow flag, and that's not obviously a way that we're hoping to end this season off, but we are hoping to end it off on an exciting note. So we're going to be bringing these now 21 cars on the lead lap, about 23 on the racetrack, back down to the green flag. We'll see if we can get something sorted here in these last 5 1/4 miles. Pace car going to pull down and then to pit row, this time by and we will enter the tri-oval once again. We'll leave it in the hands of Corbin Hemstreet. He'll come down into the Geico restart zone. And the number 69 car taking us back to the green flag. Good start up and down throughout the field, especially from that outside lane as Mark Mabb has a run coming up on the top shelf, shoved by Jonathan Schwartz. On to the back straightaway we go as they're scrambling a bit further in the background, going 3 abreast. Bounty up on the top shelf. The 22 spinning down low. Dylan Jackson body slams the inside wall. His day is done with the broken left front suspension. Fontenot now into the ground. He's going to push up and get into the 9. We're going to be spinning around up into the outside wall. Catlin going up and into the wall. No caution. Now the caution insists. We do not make it back. And I believe we reset and do it again. Attempt number 3. No, it's not. That's it. The race is over. And Schwartz will be your winner. Jonathan Schwartz taking the race win in a massive upset. While Nicholas Fontenot scrambles to the inside and causes this massive bit of melee with the number 9 car getting up and into Carson Catlin. And Catlin tanked it up and into the outside wall. But that is it. Game over. The series is done. Jonathan Schwartz, I believe, had the lead at the line. Driver's still trying to jam on the binders as we catch up to the iRacing safety car. And did he actually get it at the line? Potentially not. They were side by side. But Mark Math being put in front. So it'll be Mark Math to take an upset win in the final race, the VRX-Pimax World Cup, as we'll come down off of turn number 4 and into the tri-oval. What a season it's been, and a big shame that it had to end the way it did behind the safety car. A very lackluster way to end it, but I'm sure Mark Math not going to be complaining at all, as he'll come off of turn number 4.5, the tri-oval. And it'll be the 199 car to take the race win here tonight. But now the question still remains, who is your champion? As drivers cross the line. Well, we'll wait to see what's going to happen with your championship there. Obviously, it's all going to be a bit up in the air as it stands for a little while here on this one. But for now, we will take a run of your official post-race results. You can at least get those confirmed official for you. It is Mark Math take the win over Jonathan Schwartz with Jeffrey Hunter down to that 3rd position. Sean Bounty picks up 4th with Chris Carroll in 5th. Dave Collins Sr. was in 6th with Justin Ritchie in 7th. Corbin Hibstry brings up 8th with Joy Means in 9th. Isaac Wilson rounded out the top 10. Jason Lyon brings up 11th with Jason Day in 12th. Elise Main was in 13th with Greg Spiker in 14th. Jack Stanley was 15th with Brian Hennies in 16th. Lincoln Fontenot down to 17th with Nathan Allen Kennedy rounded up the top 18. Carson Catlin and John Hudson rounded out the cars that finished this race on the lead lap. They got Dylan Jackson, Teresa Spiker, Guy Barron, Lewis Megwin, Stephen Crone, Troy Tarbug, Joseph Seelig, Larry Bell, Sierra Clamper with Aaron Smith and Justin Buck. Both opting not to make it to the start here this one, or they were unable to make it to the start. Mark Math burning it down on the front straightaway as we continue to await eagerly for confirmation over who is going to be your champion. And I thought Math beached it for a second. I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely thought he found a way to beach it on the infield grass. But what a way for this series to come to an end. And again, not quite the way we were hoping for this to end, but it is the way that it ended nonetheless, as we'll no doubt get through all of that, and we'll look to see how all of this is going to shake on up in this one after a very intense race here tonight. And I guess we'll start with some of your podium finishers here in just a second here. Excuse me, I am stumbling all over my words today. I do apologize. Kind of working on several things here behind the scenes. We'll start first with some of your podium finishers, and how about we look back to the likes here of Jeffrey Hunter. And of course, Hunter going to be one of the drivers that we know not in contention for the race, for the championship, but we know going to be finishing this race out here in 3rd.
Just set up right where I wanted him for the last lap.
Jeffrey, this is Noel Rebel here in the broadcast booth.
Sorry.
Sorry, we caught you at a bad time on that one there, but I have to say, I mean, you finished this race in 3rd. I have a feeling not quite the way we wanted this race to come to an end, but still, what a way for you to take this season finale over here in 3rd for that number 55.
Yeah, thank you. It kind of sucked that it ended. That last caution came out because, like I was just saying to my fellow racers, that I had John the 95 for that setup right where I wanted it for that last lap. And second, going to that last lap was gonna just push him around that last lap, and then the last four swing it out, and then like a drag race to the finish. But I was not expecting that last caution.
I don't think a lot of us were, and it was a caution that took a while to come on out as well, as he had about 4 different incidents that ended up culminating in that. But you look back on the season as a whole, obviously, what was it like for you throughout the duration of this one? I mean, you had some ups and downs, but I think it's good that you ended off on a high.
It did have some ups and downs. It didn't go nearly as well as I was hoping. These guys are pretty good out here, and I had a lot of trouble with my pit stops, and I'm not really used to these, like that last green flag pit stop and stuff like that. And I had a couple of issues with qualifying a couple times, so didn't nearly go as well as I was hoping it would. But I still had a ton of fun. It was a lot of fun. These guys are really fun to race with.
Obviously, I think it's safe to say there might be a second season in the works for this. If the VRX-Pimax World Cup does make a return, do you intend on making starts there? And if so, can we potentially expect to see you out and potentially contend for a championship?
I definitely would like to get in the next one. I don't know, but championship, I guess it depends on what car they choose. They're kind of trying to figure out what car they want to go with. If they go open wheel, that's not really my thing. I'll probably get in it anyway just for the fun, but the other two cars I would, perhaps I might be contending.
Well, hopefully, whatever you opt to do, it'll end up being a good race for you over the course of the night. Thank you so much, though, for taking the time to join us here in this one. Congratulations on that 3rd place finish, and best of luck then when we get set to go racing, hopefully, for the next time very soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I had a lot of fun.
That was Jeffrey Hunter joining us up here in the broadcast booth, finishing 3rd place for him today. And it has, I believe, been made official. Aaron Smith is going to be your champion here on this one. So we're going to give our congratulations to one Aaron Smith II for taking the win of the championship by just 5 points over the likes here of Chris Carroll after the drop week came into place. Aaron Smith not able to contend in your race here tonight, but he was still able to come home and take himself a championship nonetheless. And we're going to see if we can't actually get a word with Smith now in this one. And I have to say, Aaron, this is the first time I'm talking to a champion that never actually competed in a season finale. What's that got to feel like for you?
Well, it feels pretty good. Can you hear me?
Just barely.
Alrighty, I'm on my phone here. My internet went out again right after I took that lap, so couldn't really get anything out of that there at the end, but I'm glad it still worked out in my favor.
So you win this championship by 5 points, and I understand you're on your phone, so we'll try to keep this short and sweet here. But obviously you take the championship, not quite the way you're hoping to take it, but you take it nonetheless. What some of your season here, and a few quick words for us on what it was like having to fend them off from behind.
Well, when my internet worked, I had a really good season. My worst finish, when everything was in where it's supposed to be, I finished like 3rd. That was last week. It was my worst finish of the races I actually got to run. So aside from that 12th place finish at Daytona, which was somehow enough to get me through the drop week here, it was fun from start to finish. We had a lot of good racing at the front, and a lot of new names we'll certainly be looking for in Top Split here in the next few months. But yeah, I'd like to thank everyone involved for having me this season, all the sponsors, VRX, Pimax, Thrustmaster, and Buttkicker for putting all the stuff up here for the prizes for the top 5. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next year.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that new Crystal VR headset that's coming your way after tonight. Thanks for taking the time to join us up here. I understand it's been a bit hectic over there, so we'll let you get back to it. Congratulations again on the championship.
All right, thank you.
That was Aaron Smith joining us up here, the champion at the end of the night. And we'll move on down then to the likes of Chris Carroll. And, of course, for Carroll, it was actually, we might not even have Chris Carroll. We don't have Chris Carroll able to talk to him. Chris Carroll, of course, is the runner-up in the championship. I can confirm that again right now as well, looking at the standings as this is all being updated kind of in front of me here. Chris Carroll takes the 2nd spot, and that's going to leave just Sean Boundy. So for Carroll winning that Thrustmaster Boeing flight yoke setup. Combining words a little bit there on that one. We do, however, have Sean Bounty, who we are going to be able to talk to with here. Bounty taking third place in the title, and well, Sean, you're the new proud owner of a Buttkicker Gamer Plus. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a third place finish for you.
Man, with the way the season went, I'll take it. It's a bit chaotic. There was definitely some races that I wish I could get back. That circumstances just were unfortunate, but it's the nature of signing up and being a part of this. I mean, it's a great event and a bit of new nuances, but it was fun. You never know what you're gonna get, so that's why we come out here and we do it. It's fun, it's stressful, it gets to you.
So about those thoughts we had, we talked to you last about potentially being able to run the rest of this race green.
Let's just wipe that off.
Obviously not quite the way we wanted this race to end. You were able to stay out in front of all of the trouble, though, behind for the most part. What was it kind of like there, though, down on the racetrack as all of that carnage seemed to kick off at once?
It was just a matter of did I like it or not based on what position I was in. The first one, started on the outside, and that was everything I needed to take the lead for the rest of the race. And then the second restart, it started from the lead. That may have been the only, if I'm not mistaken, the only time the leader has actually maintained the lead, and that was just super lucky to even have the opportunity to defend the lead and get up to the top lane. But I couldn't do it twice. They got it figured out on that third restart, and then after that, it was just once I hit third place when the caution came out, I knew the race was completely over for the most part. And on that very last one, it was, if we get that caution, the race is over. But I thought I still had a shot at trying to get up to third. But in general, the race was just what it was. You saw the drafting. If you weren't up against the wall, you're going to lose spots. There were definitely some races I could have done a little bit better earlier in the season. So as a whole, this race was pretty good. I don't think that last caution would have mattered. I needed to win the race to fight for second overall.
You finished this championship overall 6 points behind Carroll for second and 11 behind Smith for the race lead. So you were still up there and very much in the fight for the duration of this season. If the VRX-Pimax World Cup does make a return, can we expect to see you make a run for the title?
Absolutely. I think that's definitely depending on when they start it, what my schedule is during the year, I definitely want to make a good effort at it. I know there was a poll going out of what we might race. So that'll be interesting in itself to see what discipline we're set up for.
Well, hopefully, whatever the case ends up being, you're going to be in for a good run there on that one. And congratulations on the fourth place finish tonight and the third place championship finishing in the standings. It's been one heck of a season, and you've been right there through all of it. I think this hard work has really paid off. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And to everybody that participated and put on the event, it's a big show. It's no easy task whatsoever. Whether it runs smoothly or there's a lot of hiccups, it takes a lot of work. So hats off to everybody that made this work and showed up every week, and to all the competitors that showed up, and especially to Aaron. He did a hell of a job. And even with his computer issues, he made a valiant effort to pick up 6 points just in this race. He was on it. So congrats to all those guys.
That was Sean Bounty, the VRX Simulator's number 34 Toyota Camry, joined us up here on the broadcast booth. He finished fourth place in that net sim, a P3 in the championship. My goodness, what a championship it has been for us here tonight. And I have to say, I think it's one of those championships that you're going to be remembering for a while. And for us, it's been a roller coaster of a season. We had a wild Daytona opener that ended under caution. We had Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think for me, one of the big highlight races was actually Watkins Glen International. We even had the carnage over at the Glen, but boy, it was still ever a good race. Obviously, Chicagoland. We had our only flag-to-flag race of the season in Chicagoland. We had Jonathan Schwartz managed to steal the win away from Chris Carroll after Carroll butchers it was Schwartz that butchered the pit stops at Chicagoland, and Chris Carroll stole a win from him there. And I have to say, I think this could have been about as well of a season opener of a VRX-Pimax World Cup season that we could have possibly had when you consider the field size that has been. And again, it has been such an undertaking to get this series underway if you knew everything that was going on behind the scenes. But my goodness, what a championship. Not the way we were hoping to have it end, but I think still a worthy championship night has been crowned. For us here for Green Flag TV, it is time to sign off. Thank you for joining us for more racing action for the VRX-Pimax World Cup for the final time. Join us next Saturday night when we bring on the TNGG IEL Truck Series for their season opener at the Daytona International Speedway. We'll see you all there. I've been Ola Rempel. Have a wonderful night.